Hello, today we're going to be making some microwave safe bowl holders. So in this video, you're going to be seeing me go through this process of how I make these. I use 10 by 10 squares of cotton fabric and cotton batting, as well as using cotton thread to make that 100% safe to go in the microwave. As I've been told, it's completely microwave safe. So here you see me, I'm just cutting up my fabric. I had to cut the cactus print because it was just in a fat quarter, and so I had to cut it down to get those two 10 by 10 squares. And I'll start sewing here in 1 second. But the reason I made these bowl holders is that my friend texted me and she told me that her mom wanted some more bowl holders because she picked one up after a craft booth I had. So I let her pick out the fabric from what fabric I had. She went with these two, this beautiful little cactus one. It's kind of like pastel watercolor vibes. And this really cool, like intricate blue pattern that she chose to have a bowl holder made out of. But I think they turned out really, really cute, and they're really kind of handy to have. I advertise them at my art booths, and I always have this little sign that's like, "Hey, these are 100% microwave safe, and like they're good for hot things like leftovers or soup or whatever you need." Or, they're also good for not making your hands cold when you're eating like ice cream. So I just advertise those, and I always sell like a few at every sale I go to. They're one of my like best sellers consistently at every single event that I go to. So I always have like quite a few of them at every event. So I always just have a bunch of fabric and the batting in stock so I can make some more before events. And these whip up in like for one of them, these whip up in for me 25 minutes. So it's really not that bad, and I charge $7 for them, which I feel like is kind of the going rate for them. I've looked on Etsy and like compared prices, and that's just kind of seems like the average price for it. So some of these fabrics that I do buy, these cotton fabrics, they're like licensed characters or they're a little more expensive. So sometimes I get my fabric from the Dollar Tree, and sometimes I get my fabric from like Walmart or if I'm at Joann's. So like I had a bluey one that a little girl bought, and wanted to start charging more for like licensed fabrics versus like just Dollar Tree fabric, but I find that like people aren't gonna pay more, so I just make them one consistent price for all of them, which is $7. I used to charge 5, but I've had to since increase that over the years. Just because of the price of things keeps going up. So, of course, my prices are also going to have to reflect that for the materials that I use. So, it's not a huge increase or anything, just $2. But, I'm obviously not really paying myself like a ton of time for this, but because I can only really make two, like two and a half in like an hour if I'm really hustling. And $14 plus like you got to take materials out of that, which the cotton batting, I get 6 bowl holders worth of cotton batting out of like a $5 or $6 pack of batting. So you just have to think about those type of things. So if you make these, which I'll leave a link in the description of like what tutorial that I followed. I actually started making these in high school. In my sewing class, we had like a fabrics and fashion class in my high school, and we actually learned how to make these in that class. So everyone made one of these, but I've just continued to make them after high school and sell them at my art fair because people like stuff that's, usable art, usable, like handmade stuff like that has a function, to it. They think they're really neat. I always get a lot of comments and people talking about them. Um, so yeah. So right now I've sewn all the stuff up. If you've been watching the tutorial, it's not really a tutorial. I'm kind of making it, but you can kind of understand what I'm doing. You gotta take the fabric and cut it up, and then put the darts in and everything, and it's a whole process. But put the two good sides to the good sides, and then flip it inside out, that type of thing. And right here in the video, I'm just trimming up the edges of the inside of the bowl holder. This will not be seen in the final product, but I like to trim these up and then I save them and use them as like stuffing for like different projects or whatever. And it's just another way to reuse. So here I'm flipping it inside out. If you're, familiar with sewing at all, that's kind of a a frequent thing that happens for different sewing patterns and stuff. So you get that nice like clean edge, and then here you just take the um, little opening and just sew that shut and then sew around the whole thing to get like a nice little like clean edge that looks like really professional, and people will notice that quality when they're trying to buy it from you. So just make sure that you sew that like nicely, as nice as you can. If you plan to sell these. If not, do whatever you want. But we're not all like professional sewers. I'm definitely not. Like I cannot do that very well. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'll leave a tutorial in the description, and thank you guys so much for watching my video. And leave a comment if you have any questions. Thanks. Bye.